Hello and welcome to Inside Indiana Business. I'm Gary Dick. We have something special planned for this week's show in honor of Women's History Month. I'm going to open the show as usual, but then we'll have female guest hosts for each of our segments as we look at the influential Indiana women. And we begin with a look at the 50th anniversary of Title IX. The state of sports could have a different look today in a big way on the field or court or in the front office had it not been for Title IX. The federal civil rights law that prohibits discrimination on the basis of sex in education programs and activities. It was introduced to Congress by Indiana's own Senator Birch Bayh and signed into law by President Nixon in 1972. With more on how Title IX has impacted her career and accelerated change in women's athletics, pleased to welcome to the show Purdue University Athletics Senior Associate Athletics Director, Nancy Cross. Nancy, as always, welcome.
Thank you.
Title IX doesn't seem 50 years. What a milestone and a landmark. As you look at Title IX, the impacts have been so widespread and so consequential. What's your take on the impact over these 50 years and what Title IX has done?
Just as you said, it's been so incredibly significant, but we always try to stress with our student athletes that this isn't just about women's athletics. I mean, I think they have been the most visible, probably the front porch for Title IX in terms of where they were and where they are now. But so many people have benefited, men and women. And, when I talk to classes at Purdue, I always comment that, we probably wouldn't have a lot of our male basketball coaches or volleyball coaches coaching women's teams if the salaries weren't commensurate, or if they had to drive the van, or they had to do their own peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, which was the way it was when we all started out.
Yeah, very interesting. So it's about sports, certainly, but really education.
It is about education, absolutely.
Yeah.
And when we celebrated, the 40th anniversary at Purdue a few years ago, it was an all-university celebration. It wasn't just about athletics.
Yeah. As you reflect back, how has Title IX impacted you, maybe back in high school and throughout your career?
Well, in high school, I played a number of sports, and in reality, it really hadn't impacted it yet, because I graduated in 73, so 71 through 73, it had not impacted it yet. But when I got into college, I had grown up on the East Coast, and probably opportunities for young women and girls in high school and junior high and were a little bit more established than they were in the Midwest. And so when I got to college and then to graduate school at Purdue, I was a little surprised at how hard they had to fight for everything. And I think Title IX, when it was passed, there were so many people that embraced it because the spirit of the law was that you were going to treat people equally, women equally, and weren't going to discriminate. And then there were people who did things because it was the law. And if you're doing it only because it's the law, then you still have an uphill battle. Yeah.
As mentioned earlier, a Title IX author was then Senator Birch Bayh. Birch's son, Evan, is my guest next week on the Business and Beyond podcast. And I asked him about his dad's authoring of the Title IX legislation, and here's what he had to say.
I will occasionally have women athletic directors or coaches come up to me and say that they wouldn't have had the opportunities that they've had in their life if that hadn't opened up the doors for them to be athletes and that sort of thing. So that's a big part of his legacy.
Yeah, Evan was really proud of that fact. And we were talking off camera that Birch Bayh's kind of the impetus to do this dealt with who would become his wife, right, and discrimination.
Right. And again, I heard this third story, and when we used to do a lot of research on Title IX. We heard him talk about the fact that when he was in high school, he had gone in the summer to some camp, and I don't know if it was a debate, national debate thing, or but he met his future wife. And there was talk about both of them applying to the University of Virginia. And he applied, obviously got accepted, and then his future wife got a letter saying, sorry, as a female, you shouldn't even apply. And that actually shocked and stayed with Birch so long that his point was, why would you ever discount 50% of the population? And he had been so impressed with her, how bright she was and how talented she was, and then to think that she wasn't going to get the same opportunities to even apply to a university.
So much progress has been made in these 50 years, but yet we see examples, and we were talking about that a moment ago last year at the women's Final Four in San Antonio, and the disparity between the workout facilities for the women versus the men.
Right. People always ask me kind of what the litmus test is. Yeah. And I think that when you make decisions that are based on what's best for a student athlete, then you've arrived. But if you're making decisions about what's best for, one program versus another, you've already discriminated. And despite the fact that we have come so incredibly far in 50 years, I think last year was, just another example of we're not quite there yet. And the thing that bothered me most was had even happened before we got to San Antonio, and that was the day of the announcement. That you made, the NCAA made a huge deal about, what they were going to do for the men and in a bubble and in Indianapolis, and it was great for Indianapolis. And the fact that you weren't making a joint announcement, again, made it look like we're going to do this for the men, but we haven't even really thought about what we're going to do for the women.
As you look going forward, what's kind of next, the next 50 years, as you look at the impact of Title IX, what are areas that you see can be improved or advanced as you go over the next number of years?
Again, I think when everybody at the table has a voice and everybody at the table is making decisions about what are best for the student athletes and not segmenting the market, so to speak, not saying, we're going to do this for the men. It shouldn't matter if it's a male or female swimmer, a male or female golfer, tennis player, basketball, football. Every decision that's made should be made based on what's best for the student athletes. And then, I always look for additional opportunities for women. And when people have an opening, they're not going to automatically just assume that, that one gender can handle that situation better than another.
Great perspective, as always, on Title IX legislation. 50 years of a big impact in Indiana. Nancy Cross is the Senior Associate Athletic Director at Purdue. Nancy, thanks for all you do, too, for women's sports, for sports in general as well, and thanks for being here.
Well, I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.